if I could change this drastically, this dramatically in such a short period of time, what are the other areas of my life that I'm overlooking, where I'm sitting on top of mountains of potential that I'm just not consciously aware of? And that's what lured me into the world of triathlon initially, and ultimately into ultra endurance athletics, because I was a swimmer in college, so I had that background. And I knew how to train and push myself. And as I sort of got fitter and more invested in this food adventure that I was on, I started getting more interested in fitness in general. And I had unfinished business as a competitive swimmer, and I never felt like I achieved my potential as an athlete. And so here I was at 40, 41 years old, having this kind of Renaissance experience and thinking, well, maybe I can be competitive again. Let's give this a go. And I read this article about this crazy race, Ultraman, which is a double Ironman distance triathlon that circumnavigates the entire Big Island of Hawaii over 3 days. It's 320 miles. It's absolutely bananas. It was like a light switch went off in my mind, and I thought, that's the race for me. It made no sense. It's not logical at all. It was more like this bizarre calling that I felt. Like, it just felt right. I was like, that's what I'm doing. And I could see myself in my mind lining up at the start line. Like, I knew it was going to happen. It was like a foregone conclusion, despite the fact that it made no sense whatsoever. And I had one goal, and that goal was, don't die.
We don't set goals or define success based on our own self-identity, but based on what I call the culturescape. The culturescape is that tangled web of rituals, habits, beliefs, mythologies, practices that our culture, our religions, our countries, through schooling, through education, through media, infuse us in terms of what is the right way to function in the world. Now, post-World War II, the culturescape was really about rebuilding, about being safe. But in today's world, we are safe. And so in today's world, the millennial generation, the big thing that they want to pursue is self-discovery, is creation. The problem is, the culturescape keeps engulfing us and telling us that we need a college degree, we need to get a good career, we need to work the 9 to 5 so we can make partner in that law firm, so we can have 2.5 cars in the garage, a wife and 2 kids, so that someday when we are 60, we can finally retire and see the world. But the thing is, those rules don't apply anymore. The culturescape was designed to keep us safe, but it was never designed to keep us happy.
We were taught in the 80s and the 90s, which was basically consumerism, which was lean on other things, which was attain power, money, wealth, status, and you'll feel good. But you have an entire economy now that's chugged along pretty well for decade after decade after decade. You've got a lot of comfort, especially in the United States and the Western worlds now. We haven't solved all the problems. There's a lot of still people living in just abject poverty. But as more and more of the world reaches middle class, then they fought to get there, then they kind of look around and go, is this it? I still don't feel good. I still feel like I did when I was broke. I still feel like I did when I was struggling. And people are having trouble connecting with themselves.
As Henry David Thoreau said so eloquently, I truly believe the mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation, and what is considered resignation is confirmed desperation. I think it was true in his time. I think it's probably more true now. There are so many people who are dissatisfied with their lives. They're living their lives reactively, compulsively, and not mindfully or consciously. And it's really not even their own fault. Like, we are living all in this system that's set up to drive us onto career paths that we're not consciously choosing for ourselves, or that are out of alignment with who we truly are.
But we take goals belong to society, we take goals belong to our parents, we take goals that we think and justify and rationalize that we need in order to be happy. And I found myself reaching the pinnacle of these mountains, the mountain being a metaphor for life. So I'd reach this pinnacle and I'd stand on the top of this mountain, look around and go, I thought it would feel different. I thought I'd be happier. I thought I'd be more content. And then I'd look across the horizon, I'd see another mountain in the distance and go, ah, here's the problem. I climbed the wrong mountain. Now, when I climb that mountain in the distance, then I'll be happy and I'll come down off this mountain and I'd cross the valley, and again, this valley represented years of my life in some cases, and I'd climb another mountain which represented another business, another financial goal, another material goal, or even a relationship goal. I get to the top of that, and the same pattern followed me. Why don't I just stop and ask myself, why when I achieve something is it not enough?
Hunter S. Thompson, the American writer, in 1953 was asked to write a letter to a friend. His friend was asking for advice. Hunter says, the danger with goal setting is very often the goals that you set are not your goals. They are the culturescape's definition of how you are meant to be safe in the world. But that is one of the surest parts to misery, to waking up one day at the age of 40 going, what the hell happened to my life? And so we always have to question.
One of the keys to setting goals that are really going to be incredible for you is, do they excite you? You know, if you look at them on that piece of paper, does it bring you to life? Does it bring you joy? Does it make you have those little mix of, you know, fear and anticipation? You're like, you can't wait to dive into them. If not, something's probably wrong. So, you know, if we're setting goals out of fear or a place of pain, that's not necessarily bad. You know, we can either change our lives from a space of inspiration or desperation. And so many of us hit a pain point where we're suffering, we're depressed, we have hit this place in our lives, whether it's emotionally, in a relationship, financially, in our careers, where something is not working. And we find ourselves feeling like we're beating our head against a wall. If you're setting a goal out of, I can't take this pain anymore, that's not necessarily bad, because we have to start where we are. But when you're looking at your goals, if they don't make you want to jump out of bed, stay up all night, just get so fired up about figuring out how to bring them into the world, then I think it's time for some reevaluation.